After a lot of messing around figuring out how I'm going to do this, I built a U off the frame, and then I put a chunk of 3/8 flat bar. So it's all set up now that this will pivot. It doesn't go as far that way, but it can't go that far back anyway. I'd notched out that piece so it can turn. I stood on that, so there's no reason why it won't be strong enough. I still have to weld underneath it, but yeah, I gotta build a bracket that'll go to here, and then that'll go to there, push out, in, whatever. I gotta do the wiring and everything, but I'm gonna build that bracket on the back of the plow blade and go from there. I think what's gonna be best for this bracket is probably a chunk of angle iron. If I happen to bend that, then I'll go back and put plate on, but I think that should be strong enough. I got the cylinders on, welded and drilled, ready to go. Got the wire all wired in. Had to leave some slack here. These are cheap zip ties, so if you like pull on them just a little bit, they'll break. So just zip tie the slack. That way, if for some reason the strap breaks, or for later on I'm gonna have the springs on, if it trips, it'll have the room to trip all the way. And run the wire along the frame. Bought these cheap plug kit from Amazon. They were like 20 bucks for 50 pieces or something. So that way, when I put the blade on, I'll just put the plug on the side-by-side side, plug it in there, and yeah, be plug and go. I ended up burning the front when I welded the pieces on, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of repainting, but I gotta paint the frame and everything yet too, so not a big deal. Gotta paint the back there, and then the frame itself will be black, the rest will be red, like back of the plow and everything will be red, and then yeah, the frame will be black. Yeah, I'm gonna wire the side-by-side plug up and then get everything hooked together, see if it works, and plow some snow. Got a little bit of footage of pushing, still needs a little bit of work. I'll have to do some angle adjustments on it. My cousin has a pro mount on his Defender. I'll show how hard it is pushing. When you catch that hard crust layer, the blade just wants to either stop you and dig down or trip over, but I'll show that. Well, that lasted about a half hour to an hour of plowing. And now it broke here and it bent the cylinder. So that's gonna get a different design, I guess. I'll probably just end up going manual with them. So it's been sitting in the shop for a while, just getting everything warmed up. But earlier in the video, I was out on the lake plowing. I bent this, so what I'm gonna do is pull this out. I'm gonna chop this off. I'm gonna get rid of the automatic adjustment. It's way too slow for what I want. For what it takes, I'll just get out and manually adjust it, and I can get more strength out of it that way, and I can get full range of motion of the blade. I could only before bring the blade to about there, which is not quite all the way open. But if I make it manual adjust, I can make it so I can fully V it and stuff. So yeah, I'll end up taking these two cylinders off. This one's fine, but that one's messed up in more ways than one. They have cast aluminum mounts on there, so that broke. And then obviously that. These are supposed to be rated for 1,320 pounds. Not sure how they figure that when the wall is only that thick. If this was solid, it would probably be 1,320 pounds. It's just light aluminum. I could bend it fairly easy. Yeah, anyway, I'll chop that off and get working on that. Also decided I need angle adjustment for the blade. That way, if I'm out on the lake or whether I'm doing a driveway or whatever, you want to be able to change your angle. It'll just be a quick bolt or something, or a pin. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet, but yeah, this frame I built here wasn't built the best, I'll be honest, but it ended up, when this got enough load, it shifted over. That was already after this broke. I was using it just with a board in there after, and that's when the frame broke. Probably because there was no pressure on this side, so it allowed it to push in that way. But yeah, I'll get her fixed up into a manual angle adjustment, and I gotta do a couple little things like make a bracket for those feet. My cousin gave me like proper plow feet. I was actually looking for a set, but I didn't really find the ones I wanted. These are perfect, so I'll make a bracket, because those will have to be flat and not in the cutting edge. All I'll do is just take a type of bar or something and bring it back. Yeah, I'll get to it and update you on that. Also, another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to shorten this frame a bit. I made it longer than I needed just in case. In hindsight, I should have just made it, like I used 5 feet, and I thought I knew I only needed 4, but I made it 5 feet anyway. So, I'll just chop a foot off there and re-weld the tabs on. That's not a big deal. And I'll have the angle adjustment, so I won't have to bend the frame more or anything. I'll just weld it up and adjust as I go. Yeah, I'm gonna get to her. So that last one was kind of what I'm gonna call prototype 1. I welded some angle braces in, but anyway, I'm gonna end up ending this video here because there's gonna be quite a bit more footage of what I'm gonna do here, and then retrying the plow, and it'll be my second prototype. So yeah, like if you just want a straight blade, you cannot beat that pro mount for the Defender. And if you have the tracks, it comes with an extension and everything, so you kind of can't go wrong with it. However, if you want the Vplow, it is definitely worth making yourself. To buy the Vplow, it's about $5,000. So you save, like, I'm $1,000 in, but that's counting those cylinders, which aren't gonna end up being on here. Like that's just metal, welding rods. I had to buy some flap discs and stuff like that. So you don't, like, all in metal wise, maybe $750 if you have all that stuff already. And yeah, so you can build one of these for 1/5 of the price of buying one, but this is in turn what you'll deal with. There's gonna be some trial and error. Yeah, anyway, I'll finish it up on the next video and try it out, but I'll catch you on the next one.